This is Nivalis, a city where dreams are born and anything is possible. It's a city full of life, intrigue, and mystery. It's also crumbling into the ocean. And that's where our story begins, in the bottommost layer of the city where you'll have to set up shop and build your own business from the ground up, make a name for yourself, and ascend into the clouds above. A new story trailer for Nivalis has just arrived, and the game is coming out next year on PC, so I'm going to be breaking it down and catching you up to speed on everything you need to know about this cyberpunk slice-of-life sim. The trailer is narrated by Ava, who will be our digital companion. It seems like she'll be our guide to life in the city and able to give us valuable information about the characters we meet and how to navigate this huge place. This is a life sim, so the whole point here is to kind of build your own life, run a shop or restaurant, make friends, and explore. You've got to start small. A food stall, a noodle stand, a stim store. Build your way up to a bar, a restaurant, or even a nightclub. Eventually, you'll own all the nightlife in Nivalis, if you don't get tangled up in a sinister and twisted plot. Something about a serial killer on the loose has been revealed, but maybe that won't affect us at all. One interesting thing to note is that they're actually an android. If you've played Ionlands' first game, Cloudpunk, which I highly recommend, then you'll know that Nivalis is home to both humans and machines. But we wouldn't want all that to get in the way of our new business venture, the noodle shop. The first stop on our tour is this cozy restaurant. Like I mentioned, there are a bunch of different types of businesses we can own, but this is where we start out. I don't think that any cooking mechanics or minigames have been confirmed yet, but we do know that we'll be able to decorate, hire staff, come up with our menu, and gather, grow, or buy our ingredients. Then we have the docks, which are on the very lowest level of the city. A place where the sunlight doesn't quite reach. This is by far the area we've seen the most in these trailers, and that's probably because it's where we'll start off. It's the poorest, most dangerous part of the city, and I'm gonna guess it's where our first apartment is located. Since Nivalis is all about working your way up, it makes sense that we'd start off with no money and a dingy apartment all the way down here. Being on the lowest level, the ocean is just a splash away from us, and it looks like there are some great fishing spots to be found. Of course, we have to live somewhere, and there will be various apartments we can move into throughout the city. The first one that was shown in the announcement trailer last year is located in Midtown. The second, which was included in the most recent trailer, definitely has a more cozy feel to it, and it's located right across from this very curious building with a giant red face as an entryway. This seems to be a pretty important place in the game, and it's where the noodle stand we start out with is. I'm so curious to find out what's inside this place though. Another area that's been shown off quite a bit is this sort of blue-tinted throughway. There's a train station here, which I'll touch on later, and tons of signs and advertisements. Most likely a commercial shopping hub. This is my favorite spot so far because it really shows off how far up and down the city stretches. And I'd imagine that walking around here will make you feel tiny, just a small part of a much larger world. Last is the greenhouse. I haven't been able to pin down exactly where it is. I'd totally love to see more here though, because I love this mashup of futuristic tech and nature. It's definitely not part of our apartment, but we do get our own little PC in there to feel more at home. There's actually a computer store downtown, and the game's trailer is playing on the monitor in our apartment, so maybe we can even browse the web in-game. So you've seen a bunch of different places you'll be able to visit in Nivalis, but what is there to do? Well, going back to the greenhouse, we can grow our own ingredients to be used in our restaurant. Here it looks like we have strawberries, onions, maybe radishes, and a bunch of corn in the middle. Another way to get ingredients is to go fishing. I don't know what kind of nasty stuff you can catch at the edge of a crumbling city, but there are at least some fish down here. If you've been hanging around my channel for a bit, then you know I love fishing in games, so this is probably the activity I'll spend the most time doing. We do get some sort of handheld radar, which shows us when a fish is close by. Interested to see how that exactly works. Or you could spend your time customizing anything and everything you can get your hands on. Your apartment and your business can be customized to what looks like a pretty extensive amount. And perhaps most important of all is getting to know the different types of people that call this city their home. Build friendships with NPCs or piss them off. It's up to you. Maybe you'll even fall in love. I said I'd talk more about the trains, so all aboard, I guess. In Cloudpunk, the main thing you did was drive around in your Hava, or flying car, and make deliveries. It's been confirmed that you will not be able to drive in Nivalis, but there will be other methods of transportation. So that leaves us with trains. There are a ton of stations spread throughout the city, from down by the docks to the more bustling parts of town. I'm guessing this is going to work as our fast travel system, where you have to physically go to one of these stations and then pick where you want to go on the map. It's much more immersive that way to have a diegetic reason to fast travel versus just being able to teleport at any location. Then we have the boat, which I was very excited to see more of. It looks like we can dock at these flashing blue circles and even make our way out to these big cranes in the distance. Hope you don't get seasick easily because there are some pretty serious storms in the game. In fact, Nivalis has realistic weather simulation and night and day cycles that will impact your experience in the world. And since this is a cyberpunk city, it will be raining a lot. One thing I wasn't expecting to see in this trailer was a look at some of the game's UI. They ended up going with something pretty simplistic and slightly futuristic, which I think works perfectly. Here's a shot of the staff schedule for our noodle bar, and we actually have to balance each employee's schedule, pay, and disposition. We need at least one server and one cook working at any given time, and it seems like we're free to schedule people how we see fit. There are also tabs to manage our restaurant's finances, menu, inventory, and customer reviews. Next is a peek at the text boxes in the game with 2 different dialogue choices. I'm guessing this is who we inherit the noodle bar from at the beginning of our adventure. The most interesting UI bit has to be Ava's personality matrix. Designed to help us navigate relationships with the people of Nivalis, we can see where we stand with NPCs and whether they're more friendly or hostile towards us, and if our relationship is casual or more business focused. At the end of this trailer, we're warned that your choices matter, so choose carefully. And I think they've done an excellent job of showing that off. Balancing the needs of your staff, keeping ingredients in stock, making friends and enemies, in business and outside, there will be decisions that need making. Finally, I want to point out this behind-the-scenes video where developer Ionlands shows off some of the motion capture work they've been doing. It's always cool to see how the games I love or am looking forward to get made. They're using Mocap to create all the character animations in the game, from moving around the city to talking, fishing, waiting tables, and even interacting with food. A lot of attention is being paid to the characters in the game, so it's looking like they'll be a very important part of your experience here. Now, I want to know what you think. What are you looking forward to most in Nivalis? We still have a bit to wait before the game releases sometime in 2024, and I can't wait to see what Ionlands has to show us before then. Until we do know more, why not check out some of these games?